So I know some CEOs find it difficult to train their managers, and I'm wondering, and they're in business, so I'm wondering why some CEOs just don't like training their managers.
Well, that would be me almost speaking up for those CEOs. Like, okay, why?
Yeah,
don't
why?
you-
Why? Because
why
I know
don't
you've
you?
been into.
Well, I would think that perhaps two reasons. One, we've been in this training business for over 20 years, and as long as I can remember, most chief executives don't see the impact of training on their business. So for them, it's more like a wasted venture. I mean, why do I have to invest money when I don't see the impact? And of course, we know why we don't
But
get.
why? Oh,
Yeah, we don't. It's because you see, the company itself does not have a system that ensures that training is transferred. That's the problem. Yes.
But sometimes you think that because I've been around in the training space for a while, and I realize that some of this trainer selection is also a major challenge. So it starts from the delivery of the training itself, or should I say selection of the trainers. Because we live in an environment whereby you see the HR sometimes screen the trainers.
Okay.
And sometimes the HR, if you're not careful, screen good trainers out.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, because sometimes it depends. If your HR manager does not understand the business impact of that decision,
Okay.
then there's no way the HR manager would not make, should I say, there won't be conflict of interest, because the HR is just choosing people
Based
that
on-
they like, that have relationships with, not people that can do these things.
Well, I think that the HR gets away with that if that happens, because there is no adequate measurement of impact.
True.
If HR is aware that, look, if this training does not yield its promises,
They get fired.
man,
Yeah.
but because there is no measurement for, okay, we've gone for this training on customer service. Now, based on this training, what have we implemented? What are we changing? What are we doing? When do we know that this training has worked? But because there's no measurement, we just go, we have fun, and then we are back. So, hey, HR can afford to make those.
Yeah, but some people see training as just a year's activity. Just let's train them. We've not trained our employee this year. Let us train them.
Yeah.
Look, what should we even train them on? Let's train them on this topic. We've done this before. And they feel that the real what determines the need for those trainings should be how they feel part time. Let's take example. They've done this. They did customer service training 10 years ago.
Is that a need now? Because a training should serve a need, should close a skill gap within the system. So trainings cannot be decided without a need analysis. What do we need right now? What are the challenges we're facing right now? Those things inform what trainings do we go for so that there's a direct impact. You're not just going to wake up in the morning and say, oh, I think I feel like taking paracetamol. No, you take paracetamol because it helps you to cure headache or whatever. So if there's no need analysis, then why are we going for the particular training? And I also think that the first budget company slash is budget on training.
Because it's not seeing the impact.
Yeah. So they just look at it as, okay, we do one of those things like a community service, let's do it because, hey, we have to do it. But if there is impact, and I think that trainings will always lose the value as long as that organization is not serious about ensuring that the impact of the training affects business results.
Excellent.
There will always be that gap.
Excellent. So if there's ROI, there's no MD that want to see every MD wants to see the direct relationship between if I spend 20 million, I'm going to get 2 billion.
That's it.
Then definitely
It's a no-brainer.
we'll keep on investing in training.
It's a no-brainer.
In training. Okay, so let's talk about national development because I've been I feel strongly that when managers don't grow, it kills the nation.
Yeah, it does.
So what is the real relationship between managers' growth and national development?
It's like it has a direct implication. And I'm going to tell you this. Every business, forget profit for now, is built, it doesn't matter what the business is built to create value for customers. That's the essence of business at a profit. So if I have a company that creates value, you have a company that creates value, everybody has companies that are creating value, invariably the society becomes valuable by the value that we create. But if we don't create value, and look, every manager may have job description. Your number one job description is make us profitable by creating value. So if my business is profitable, yours is profitable, eventually we're going to have a profitable economy. Small-scale businesses and large-scale businesses at a profit run a country.
So if business don't scale up,
the country is going to be drawing back consistently.
So most people look at the government as, to create more jobs, because because when you travel out of the country, I remember there's a particular place I stayed around Richmond, and Amazon has a big center. Every time they are still hiring. So in that area, if you're living there, you will have a job.
Okay.
Why? Because Amazon is there.
It's there.
So now, if Amazon stayed small and Amazon had ineffective managers, then Amazon would not be where they are today.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I feel, because when you look at all nations, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, different companies all over the world are creating jobs in America that have made America a place whereby very people work with government in America, really. So when they say we are that jobs in America, we're talking about private businesses that have scaled up, and they have now big business that can hire more people.
Exactly.
So if I have bad managers that kill people, they cannot motivate people, they don't know how to hold people accountable, then the business cannot grow. And if business is not growing, the nation cannot grow. So there's a direct relationship, like you mentioned, between managerial effectiveness
and national
effect.
Yes.
So we can wage war against managers and say, for this country to grow, you must be effective.
Yeah.
So managerial development also, I feel, is also like a CSR to the nation, to national development.
Yeah.
So it's something we must see differently, that we're not just training them because of our businesses. However, it's because of national interest, because if they grow, then you can minimize unemployment in Africa.
Yeah.
So the reason why we have huge number of unemployed youths in Nigeria is because businesses are not growing.
Yeah.
Because there will always be need if businesses are growing and they hire more people.
Yeah.
So if you look at the banking industry, when the banks were growing drastically, people were having jobs.
Because that sector was doing well.
Yeah. But now,
you see, this is the way this thing works. Not even the way I see it. The way it works is government cannot provide employment. I don't even think government should provide employment. Government provides the enabling environment for businesses to succeed.
Right, yeah.
That's what it does. So if you have that enabling environment, then businesses will thrive.
Definitely.
Do you understand? So it's not the job of the government to create jobs. It's the job of the citizens to create jobs.
Definitely.
As long as the environment is conducive, the security, you have energy, you have what you need. However, even when government provides that environment, the systems of the businesses run by effective managers is crucial.
Definitely.
Because you can have access to resources and waste resources. You can have access to time and waste time. You can have access to capital and waste investors' funds if you're not prudent enough to manage such funds.
So, but some managers, I've engaged some managers, said, Jibola, I want to do all these things you're saying.
Okay.
But the more I do it, the more I become enemies to the people. Then I said, is there no balance between...
What do you mean by enemies to the people?
Like most managers want people approval. So the reason why they become ineffective is not because they don't know that they're being ineffective.
Okay.
Or, should I say, the reason why some managers don't enact policies and make sure they follow through on policies because they feel it's going to make people feel they are wicked. So how do we balance? So that managers
that feeling is also a sign of ineffectiveness. Because if we're here to achieve this goal and we are trying to jeopardize the goal at the essence of sentiment and affiliations and relationships, that's wicked. So at one point or the other, that manager is exhibiting managerial ineffectiveness. That's the honest truth. And here's the thing, just think about it, watch sports. If you're a football coach, for example, you're not going to put a player that's going to make you lose the match and keep that player and keep that player and you keep losing your match, because if you keep losing, your job as the coach is at stake.
That's true.
It's at stake. So I may like this player, but if this guy would not deliver, if having him will make us lose, which will make me lose my job. See, Jibola, I think the problem is this. I think the consequence for managerial ineffectiveness is low.
Good.
Is poor.
So the reason why that manager will not be effective,
there are no consequences.
Because there are no consequences for is ineffectiveness.
If you coach a football team and the team keeps losing, the owners of that team will lay the coach off.
Definitely.
That's the deal. You're going to lose your job.
So coaches want to deliver.
Yes, but in business, rather than laying off the manager, we lay off the team. We lay off the team, and even if you recruit a new set of people for this ineffective guy, it's still the same person. It will still mess it up. It doesn't matter who you give him. Give him the best brains, top talent. It's going to mess it up. Why? The consequences are minimal. He's not going to lose his job outrightly. But when we raise the bar on consequences for ineffectiveness, then the whole idea of they're not going to like me. They're not going to. It's just going to go. It's going to fizzle off. It's going to fizzle out right away.
You know, I know of a branch, a bank on the island.
Yeah.
And about 3 managers have been put there. The branch heads, and they've not done it well. Okay. So they changed this manager and brought art down. For 12 years now, the manager have constantly, made the branch an A+ with the same set of people.
That's it.
But something happened. One day she went on leave, so I went visiting.
Okay.
I saw the head of marketing dancing in the hall and playing and all. The same person.
Okay.
So they say, I said, where's Madame? Say, Madame no deal. So you can see that the manager's managerial skills, holding them accountable,
is why
they're doing well.
Left to them alone.
So the other managers probably believe that people will do what they have to do if they're not being worked on, because people's maturity, your team's maturity, also will affect your managerial style. So I feel what most managers do is to use a style that worked.
And it's not relevant for the situation on the ground.
The maturity of your new team.
Exactly.
Because if there are people that you have to constantly micromanage, of course, having a team you micromanage is not so sane.
It's crazy.
So I read a book a while ago that said if you have managers and people that you have to do so much to manage, then you let them go, because they deprive you of your sanity. We'll talk about your mental space. When you keep thinking about them, they slow down your brain, they slow down your things, because you know that you cannot leave them without your presence make them function. Your absence makes sure they're not functioning.
They become dysfunctional.
So it makes it so hard for you to do your real role, and those are strategic roles. That means,
there is no one rule for this, and I'll say it this way. Some managers work in companies that cannot afford top talent. So what you have is C-level talent that you have to constantly micromanage. Now, if you lay off all these people, you're still going to hire the same caliber, because your financial strength cannot buy you. Allow me to use that word, the quality. Let me take this back to sports again. The weakest teams in every league are weak. Not because they're not playing the same football, but because they don't have the financial muscle to buy the quality players. And every time they nurture a player who is good, the big boys will come and poach that player and pick him away with millions. So they remain the lowest teams in the league, and the guys on top because they go to the market.
But talk about Arsenal. Arsenal sometimes groom people.
Yeah. And they lose them. Yeah, they groom them. The bigger Real Madrid buys them off, brings double the amount. That's the way it is. Now, Arsenal is a fantastic team, okay, let me be careful not to say this, but Arsenal is not a great team. When you want to talk about great teams, how many times has Arsenal won Champions League? Real Madrid is a great team. That's a team that's won consistently. That's what you're going to look at, the track record. And every time Arsenal has a successful player, they're going to lose that guy. They can't keep the guy for 4 seasons. They can't. So you don't have sustained growth.
So how do we help small businesses, that are just growing, that cannot even hire good managers? They don't also now want to train them. They hire bad, because we're talking about the people. We're not talking about the managers themselves.
Yeah.
So if you've not hired good managers too, how will you do it? And you don't have money to also train the bad managers to be good. At least we know Arsenal is spending so much on training.
At least you're getting
training. So they still sometimes, that's why they're still playing between the first 3 or first 4 in every league somehow.
Yeah,
but a team, an organization that cannot hire good managers, cannot hire good people,
that's a lot of,
and does not train them, is that not Gombe?
I think what needs to happen, and anybody running a business needs to be very realistic. What needs to happen is, if you don't have the financial muscle to pay the salary for top talents, whether it's a manager or the people, whatever talent you get, you must have the financial muscle to train them. And sometimes training, you and I know, is in levels. The need of a small business is the training need is not the need of a multinational. They are different. Now, that small business, hear this very well, can be profitable in its smallness. We always think that you have to be big to be profitable. No. Profit means your selling price is more than your cost price. That's all. Whatever you have left is profit. And we can be small and profitable. So those small businesses in their own spaces also can have access to training that is useful for their own level. The only thing is the CEOs need to know that we have to double down on training, since we don't have the ready-made talent coming in to meet us.
Okay, double on training.
Yeah.
Now, now I'm driving this conversation somewhere.
All right.
So we've started by talking about people. They cannot afford good people.
Yeah.
They cannot afford good managers. How would they afford good trainings? And if they cannot afford good, because you training does not mean you are training.
Okay.
If your trainers also need to be trained.
Yeah.
Because I've seen situations whereby you have a lot of, because people want to pay cheap. So they go for, say if you want to pay peanuts or whatever.
You get monkeys.
You get monkeys.
Yeah, you know what? When you budget as a small business owner for your business, 9 out of 10 business owners don't budget training into theirs. They don't have a budget for training. So it is left over. But if training becomes a part of your running cost, look, to run this business successfully, this is the amount on human development capital that we need. Trust me, then the productivity of that system jumps up to meet that. We can't run this without this. See, it doesn't matter how much you want to say it. Even if you live in a house that is below par, your accommodation, you're still going to have to take the same transportation as somebody whose accommodation is superior to yours. It's the same road, it's the same cost of fuel, same cost of everything. So you have to find a way to de-factor that into your budget, even if your accommodation is low. So the owners of the business need to see, Mr. Jubala, the problem is the owners don't see an impact of training to their businesses.
So let's look at the owners now, because I started from the employees, then to the managers, then to the trainers. But if the owners of the business also lack effective managerial skills, because also so many owners don't also open themselves to learning, and you cannot give what you don't have. Is the environment you see someone that feels that the reason why I'm the owner is because I know everything.
Okay.
And that also works. You see, I was in a company one time. After training them, I trained the sales team, and I came in to come and check on the owner, and they said he was having a meeting with the sales guys the following morning. So I went there. When I got to the door, I saw he was insulting her. if you cannot destroy this place. And if you want to destroy this place the way your father, if you ask a company like this, you will not come here. And I know that. And the words
were wrong.
The best words were wrong. Yeah. So you see a CEO that's also immatured
yeah.
in his managerial skills.
Incompetent to lead.
So you see a hierarchy of incompetency
yeah.
from the CEO, from his mindset. So if managerial training is, I feel managerial training is important from the CEO.
But you see, I'm going to be very realistic.
Okay, good.
A chief executive is a chief executive because he has majorly financial muscle. Mm-hmm. It's not because he has intellectual prowess.
It depends on the chief executive.
Yeah, but for example, if I have 10 billion and I want to go into, say for example, the airline, I want to have a play, I want to run in that industry, but I don't know anything about it, but I have an affinity for that industry. I'm going to start sourcing for brains that understand that industry, but I don't know anything about that industry.
But just say something now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sourcing for brains.
Yeah.
How do I know the brain I source for?
Oh, if you're open into the market, it's not a secret. Top talents, it's not a secret at all. You already know the companies that are doing well. You have a benchmark. This is the kind of company I want to have. It's not a secret.
But I also believe that you cannot give what you don't have. You know, you need to provide a certain level of leadership, especially when people,
exactly.
you have a frontline team. Even when you're not
relying on you.
Yeah. So you need certain level of managerial skills.
But you know they don't want to go for training. Even the CEOs, so they run from training. Because training exposes their incompetence. Look, I've been in classes where the CEO is in the class with the managers and everybody's around. And for everything we were saying, the staff were, they were more like, that's it. That's the person that needs to hear this. And after a while, the CEO became uncomfortable. It was like, I could literally see him, it was more like, I paid you guys, and you're messing me up. But we didn't even know. We were just stating management practices. And then the following day, to this class, the guy didn't come. He didn't show up. Why? The training was exposing his incompetence right in front of his staff. So they don't want to show up because even they are aware that they don't have what it takes.
Fantastic.
Honestly.
Fantastic. So now we're narrowing down, and I guess we're trying to narrow down this conversation to say, without managerial effectiveness, the nation cannot grow.
It won't.
And I feel that that's the mindset almost all business owners should have. Because if you don't train your managers, your business cannot grow, you cannot scale up, and the nation cannot grow.
Yeah.
So one of the ways we kill the nation as CEOs is having bad managers in our business.
One of the ways, first of all, is being ineffective as CEOs, and then now make that a spiral as we have ineffective managers who also create ineffective organizations eventually. And that's why a company is 15 years and you cannot see anything that looks like 15 years. 15 years, still struggling with 5 years problems. They've not scaled up. And you're like 15 years? We've been here for the past 15 years, but there's nothing to show in terms of impact, in terms of productivity, nothing to show for it.
So you can liken that to adults that say sucking finger. Because
or still bedwetting.
We got an adult baby syndrome. Bedwetting. Okay, that's nice having you today in the studio. I guess
I've had fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you again some other time.
No problem.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
CEED Academy, your growth partner.